What progress do you think we're going to see made?
Well, I'm fairly optimistic. I mean, I think the politics are such and the economic logic is that we will finally have a deal on Boeing-Airbus, which is, of course, good news for both companies. But first and foremost, I would say it's probably even better news for the many companies in both the EU and the US that are hit by the retaliatory sanctions from this long-running dispute. Because the reality is that there is both a significant China and green angle on this. If you can agree to limit subsidies in the US and Europe, also at the WTO, the third up-and-coming large aircraft producer, which is China's COMAC, will surely be more affected because they get a lot more subsidies than either Boeing and Airbus does today. And then the environmental angle is, if you like, that, look, we need to develop low carbon or zero carbon aviation. That is surely going to require a lot of government subsidies. So if we can get rid of all the other ones, we should at least leave that one open.
And what about the fundamental issue of agreement on steel and aluminium subsidies and what the tariffs should be in this regard?
Well, my sense is there that from what Joe Biden has said, and maybe this is his sort of fundamentalist, I mean, he is a bit of a protectionist, if you like, compared certainly to his Democratic predecessor, Barack Obama. I don't think the time is right for that. My sense is that the administration has clearly signaled that for basically domestic political reasons, they have a tough midterm coming up. The steel industry matters in some of these swing states. They regard, I don't think the tariffs will go away. We may get them shifted so that they no longer are justified by this, if you like, ill-fitting label of national security, but for some other reason. But I don't think Biden is fundamentally ready politically to remove them yet.
And if he's not ready now, though, Jacob, and very good morning to you, when will he be ready? You've already mentioned the tough political agenda, which means we basically have an election every 2 years in the United States. I was looking at an article where you were comparing him with Franklin Delano Roosevelt rather than, well, actually, Lyndon B. Johnson rather than Roosevelt as well. But if he can't do it now, when will he be able to do it if he has a tough midterms?
Well, assuming that the Democrats still control the House of Representatives after the midterms, which is an open question, that would be certainly one major obstacle, because I think it'll be easier for him to not care about so much about this issue when he's on the ballot himself, which I believe he will be in 2024. So after the midterms, for that reason, I think is a more fortuitous political timing of it. It might also give time for a negotiated solution at the OECD process, where they're looking at the global oversupply of steel, which is, of course, back to the basic issue of what to do with China, because a lot of it overcapacity certainly is Chinese production.
Yeah, that was really fascinating you should mention China, because I was coming to you there. You perhaps foresaw that. COMAC is a word that you've mentioned in your notes as well. A lot of our viewers won't be aware of it, but of course it is the Chinese threat on the horizon to both Boeing and Airbus, certainly for a lot of those international customers as well. How tight is that battle going to be? And is that why we're getting closer to Airbus and Boeing ending their dispute so they can move on technologically and face down the threat that is COMAC?
Well, I mean, I think the reality is that COMAC is still, if you like, an upstart company. It hasn't sold many aircrafts outside of China, and it hasn't made the really big wide-body intercontinental aircraft yet, but it is working on it, and it is clearly a priority for the Chinese government. They have also a joint venture, or at least a tight collaboration with Russian aircraft manufacturers. So it's coming, but again, it is relying very heavily on government subsidies in many ways, in the same way that that Airbus did in its early years, which is, as I said, why in some ways, if you wanted to maintain the duopoly on this market, you wanted to cut a deal between the US and Europe, and preferably now.